Today I'll be showing you 5 of the best strength scaling weapons that you can get very early on in the game that are still incredibly powerful to use. And some of these weapons do scale even higher with heavy affinity applied, but I'll go over everything with you throughout the video. Now the first weapon on this list is one of the 9 legendary weapons you can find throughout the game, and in my opinion it's really underused. That weapon is the Grafted Blade Greatsword. It's a colossal sword, it has a base physical attack of 162, and to wield this weapon you need 40 strength and 14 dexterity, and can achieve a maximum of a B scaling and strength. The Ash of War Oath of Vengeance can't be swapped out, however it does have some really solid benefits, especially for early game. When you use the Ash of War, you don't just get a poise buff, but all of your attributes are increased by 5 points, which is basically the same effect as using Godrick's Great Rune, except this effect only lasts for 60 seconds. This is probably one of the more dangerous weapons on this list. Now, if you want to find this weapon for yourself, you can grab it by defeating Leonin Misbegotten, who's an early game boss in Castle Morn at the Weeping Peninsula found here. Now the second weapon on this list is the Greatsword. This is another hard-hitting sword with a base attack of 164. You need at least 31 points put into strength and 12 points put into dexterity in order to use this. It's very heavy, but it's a great weapon that can be found early on in the game in Caelid. Now, it does have a base scaling of C in strength, but you can swap out the Ash of War on this weapon if you apply the heavy affinity to this weapon or any other weapons on this list. But for this weapon, you have a maximum strength scaling of A. Assuming that you have enough points put into your strength stat, it can do a lot of damage in various situations. Now you can find this weapon right about here in a chest on a carriage guarded by a couple of large dogs. Now the third weapon on this list is going to be the Axe of Godrick. Now this is a weapon that I've always enjoyed mostly in PvE, but was never really that good in PvP until patch 1.09 when they increased the speed, the range, recovery time, and guard counter speed of all weapons in the Great Axe category and various other weapon types as well. It has a base physical damage of 142, you need 34 strength and 22 dexterity to use this weapon. It does come with a D-scaling in strength, but you can bring it up to a C scaling as long as your strength stat is high enough. The Ash of War is pretty unique, creating a earth-shaking AoE type attack. It uses 15 FP per use and deals 19 stance damage, which for an early game weapon makes a really great choice, especially for taking down larger enemies or larger groups of enemies. You can only get this weapon by first defeating Godrick at the end of Stormvale Castle, and then turning his remembrance into Enya at the Round Table Hold near the Two Fingers. Number 4 on this list is going to be another weapon you can find in the Weeping Peninsula. This is the Zweihander. It's a colossal sword, and it's also one of the lightest colossal swords in the game currently. You can actually purchase this weapon by a merchant near the western area of the Weeping Peninsula for 3,500 runes. It has a very low scaling of D in strength. Now you need 19 points put into your strength stat and 11 points in dexterity in order to use this. I recommend swapping the Ash of War out on this weapon if you're going to use it. I prefer Braggart's Roar or Piercing Fang, but any ash you throw onto this, as long as your strength is high enough, you have a great chance of bringing the scaling up in strength to a B. Now before we get to the final weapon on today's list, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Let me know down in the comments what type of list you think I should do for the next video, and also slap that like button and tickle the bell icon below the video to support my channel. It really does help me out, which helps me bring you guys more content. Let's get to the final weapon on this list. This is probably one of my favorite weapons in the game currently. It's very versatile. It has a very long reach. This is the Knight Rider's Glaive. A lot of people put this in a bad light. However, this is easily one of my favorite weapons because it's the lightest weapon on this list that you can achieve an S tier scaling in the strength stat. I prefer the Sword Dance Ash of War on this, or the Piercing Fang, depending on my playstyle. The weapon requires 26th strength and 10 dexterity to use, which, considering the potential this weapon has, those are pretty low requirements. The Ash of War that comes on the Knight Rider's glaive only consumes 6 FP per use, and it has decent crowd control. However, what makes this weapon fun is that if you throw any old Ash of War on this weapon, and if you manage to get a second one on another playthrough, you can dual wield them and do even more damage. Which, in my opinion, is again why this weapon is such a fun weapon. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this list. I will be working on some more lists in the future, but my schedule is kind of crazy these days. So I hope you've enjoyed this list. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Please consider subscribing and like this video if you liked it. And hopefully you found this informative or entertaining in any way. Everyone keep it PG, and I will see you in the next video. See you later.